What's up everyone, my name is Josh and this is Josh Unboxed, and welcome back to the Daily Grind, a video series in which I talk about particular cards, play, strategy, news, and how it affects the overall sports card market. In other words, I'm just trying to find a way to help us navigate through the craziness that is the sports card world today, as well as to help us make much more sound purchasing and selling decisions. And I'm pretty sure you guys all heard the news, right? I mean, if you're like me, you go on your YouTube homepage and all the content creators that you're subscribed to, you see headlines, PSA, 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 PSA suspends their service, and that's the biggest news in the sports card world. And a bunch of content creators are talking about it, but today I think I want to go in a different route. We're not going to talk about PSA. We're not going to talk about all the stuff that's going on with it. But what I will say about it though, and I'm going to mention this briefly, is that when you're watching these other content creators, there's a bunch of different opinions on what the plan is moving forward. Take it for what it is, talking about different grading companies and whatnot. So that's all I'm going to say about PSA. But what I actually want to talk about today is just finding the joy in purchasing cards, purchasing raw cards in particular, because with all this news with PSA, it brings me back to thinking how things were back in the day. If you've been a collector back for a long time, or if you've collected sports cards back in the 90s, 80s, 70s, whenever, when we were kids, it wasn't about graded cards. Most of the time it was about finding the joy in ripping packs and pulling that one card that you wanted, going to a card shop, finding the cards that you want, going to card shows and seeing those cards that you like, thumbing through dollar bins, finding hidden gems. There's a lot of joy to be had still, and it's not always about getting a high ROI, right? It's not maximizing your profit. It's not always about maximizing your profit in the sports card hobby. It's just that recently, this has been the thought, is that you can make a lot of money with sports cards, especially with graded sports cards. And that's why we saw this influx of people submitting cards to get graded. I'm one of them. I've submitted a couple of cards to get graded as well. But at the same time, I'm trying to create a balance within myself of trying to get my cards graded and still finding joy in thumbing through dollar bins at local card shops, at LCSs, going to a card show and just thumbing through their dollar boxes, trying to find value. Because part of it is the thrill of the hunt, right? You don't know what you're going to get in there. You don't know what you're going to find. So it's always exciting when you find something cool, right? I think part of that is what creates that love in the hobby, is that just finding value in the joy of collecting, right? We always talk about finding value in terms of monetary value in the cards that you buy, in the getting a card graded and selling it for a profit, or buying a graded card that you feel is undervalued and seeing it rise up in price and selling it for a profit. Now, what I'm talking about value here is just the value in terms of your happiness, your joy in collecting sports cards. And I think for any longtime collector or any pure collector in this hobby, that's one thing that they feel is kind of missing in this hobby, in this big old explosion in which there's a bunch of people, flippers, investors, with collectors in the mix, that, hey, part of the thing that's missing now, or what gets often forgotten, is that joy, joy in collecting. And I think with these changes in PSA, it allows me personally to refocus and start experiencing that joy all over again. I do it once in a while. If you've seen my pickup videos, I pick up a bunch of raw cards just for the sake of it. I got a bunch of Antoine Walker rookie cards because I thought they were just pretty cool. Larry Bird 1990 early base cards, Magic Johnson 90-91 Fleer, some Michael Jordan base cards, some Kobe cards that I thought were pretty cool. A lot of the plays that I give, or a lot of the cards that I look at on this channel, are cards that I feel are pretty cool, not just so much in terms of monetary value, but cards that are pretty cool. So I think this presents a great opportunity for people who have been collecting for a long time, or have been in this game for quite some time, or who remember what things were back in the day, for us to kind of revisit that, revisit and refine that joy in collecting sports cards. And And if you find a card that has great value, then great. Or if you find a card that grows over time, great. I think that's part of the excitement as well. But going through your bins, going through dollar bins, going to local card shops, looking at the showcase at Raw Cards, see if there's any cards that have value that catch your eye. There's a lot of value to be had in that, in terms of the joy aspect of it. But at the same time, there can be some monetary value in that as well. But to me, this is what I just wanted to talk about, rather than focus on what's going on with PSA. And I think when most people are talking about PSA, a lot of people are talking about the bottom line factor, and the bottom line factor is money. But I want to focus on an alternative bottom line factor, which is the joy. Where has it gone? As much as I like to invest, I'm a collector first, investor second. I do have a big goal in acquiring cards to pass on to my son long term, but along the way, I'm trying to enjoy the process, enjoy the hobby on my way to that goal. And once in a while, I'll pick up cards that I just love, with no inkling of any type of monetary value. And I think, like I said, this presents a great opportunity for us as sports card enthusiasts to jump back on and experience that joy all over again. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell. If you guys found some value in this, or go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. If you disagree, then go ahead and feel free to thumbs down and start a discussion. Comment down below. This is just something that came to my mind, and I wanted to bring a different perspective to the changes in PSA, rather than thinking about the bottom line or the monetary value that's being lost. So thank you guys again for watching. And with that being said, my name is Josh, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.